Hey, welcome to the Dre Way. I'm glad you're here. We've got a good show for you today. A little bit of a different show because, I'm going to rant a little bit. But I'm glad you're here. Hit the subscribe button because there is a new Dre Way each and every day. And I'm sure you want to check them out. You do, don't you? You want to check them out? But don't go anywhere. We're about to get started. Let's go! Hey, welcome to the Dre Way. There's some things I want to talk about that I'm kind of upset about. I'm kind of perturbed. I'm kind of angry. Angry is a good word because I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of sidestepping or not just calling it what it is. Because anymore, there is no such thing as Republican. After what happened yesterday and the taking down and under DEI, taking down people of color in the Department of Defense, and I know they finally put Jackie Robinson back up, but where are the code talkers, the wind talkers? What about the Tuskegee Airmen? Why are we taking down the accomplishments of people of color? Oh, I know, because you're racist. And that's just, it's so obvious anymore that you can't say anything else about it. If you're a Republican, which there's no such thing anymore, let's make sure we all understand each other. There is no such thing as being a Republican anymore. You're either really rich or you're a racist. It's either or. In some cases, it's both. But in most cases, you're just a racist. You're not a Republican. There's nothing to be Republican about. What does Republican even mean? Tell me something the Republican Party has done for the country, like healthcare or schools or anything. Tell me something they've done, they've voted on and passed over the last 20 years. I'll wait. Because you will have a very difficult time finding anything other than tax cuts. We all know, cut taxes for the rich. We all know that. But I'm talking about advancing the society, advancing our country. We have needs. We have things we got to get done. We have bridges to build. We have roads to build. We have technology to improve on. We have things to do. But Republicans don't vote for any of that. None of it. Not this year, not last year, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. It's not what you do. So don't put yourself under this so-called Republican label anymore. It's a label that doesn't mean anything. It used to, but for the last 20 years, it doesn't mean squat. All it means is I'm either really rich or I just want to be in the white club. I'm a racist. I just want to be where the whites are. That's all it means. And I'm sorry, you can try to argue it till you're blue in the face, but I have receipts and you don't. You don't have any receipts. You don't have any proof because they don't do anything. They don't put bills together to make this country better. There's nothing that they're doing. They've talked about Obamacare being horrible, terrible. It's the worst thing ever. What do you got? You got nothing. And you've had nothing. Not this year, last year, the year before that, year before that, year before that, year before that. Nothing. You've come up with nothing. You want to get rid of Obamacare. Every year you guys talk about getting rid of Obamacare and your plan is, it's over here. It's nothing. Your plan is nothing. Roads and bridges? Well, the last time Trump was president, you talked about it every day. I'm the president of infrastructure. I'm the president of infrastructure. It's infrastructure day. You guys passed nothing. Nothing. So nothing getting built has anything to do with a Republican. You guys don't even vote for it when it comes up for a vote. Everything Biden got done. What did Biden get done? Look it up. I'm not going to sit here and go through it with you. You can Google it. It takes 30 seconds. And look at Biden's accomplishments, like the chip back. Just read. Just sit there and read it. But this is what Democrats do. When they get in the office, we pass legislation to get things done, to move the country forward. And you see, Republicans don't do that. And I don't know about you, but I'm physically tired of watching Republicans do nothing. Because this is what happens. Like George Bush is a perfect example. The country was in tatters. The White House was burnt to the ground. We were in complete economic collapse. Oh, here you go, Obama. Here you go. Take the country. Yeah, it's burning to the ground, but here, it's all yours. And then he spends 8 years redoing the country, redoing the economy, and jobs. We're doing great. Do we pass it off to Hillary? No. We pass it off to a game show host, Donald Trump. What could go wrong? Oh, I don't know. A pandemic comes along and we have a knucklehead that has no idea what to do. So millions of jobs are lost, the country is shut down, and it's catastrophe. Again, the White House is burning. And oh, let's hand it over to the old guy that will know how to fix everything. And for 4 years, he spends all of his time fixing what knucklehead burnt to the ground. But what do we do again? We go, things aren't moving fast enough. Let's go back to the guy that burnt it all to the ground. That's what we do. And I don't know about you, but I'm just, because after these 4 years, after this destruction again by Donald Trump, we are 100% guaranteed going to put a Democrat back in the White House. And that Democrat is going to pass legislation to move the country forward and make the country better. And when it's not better fast enough, Americans will once again be convinced to go the other way, and we'll spend years again doing nothing, accomplishing nothing, passing nothing. But just so you know, other countries around the world, they're moving forward. They're moving forward at lightning speed. And we're getting left behind because we're worried about things like DEI. How sad. But that's the cycle that we're in. Let's build the country, let's do nothing. Let's build the country, let's do nothing. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't go anywhere. I got a lot more show for you. But let me know what you think in the comments. Stay right there. Now we are attacking food banks. Yes, the USDA doesn't have the funding to buy food for food banks. Yes, because the Trump administration thought it would be a really good idea if they cut that funding. So who loses? Well, first, farmers lose because their produce and their food isn't being purchased. And who else loses? Hungry people in America. Yeah, the food banks will literally run out of food because there's no funding to supply the food banks with food. So we have Americans now showing up at food banks with no food. Oh, isn't that wonderful? And we thought that would be a necessary cut. Tell me who thinks that's a good cut. Tell me who thinks that's a good idea. To take food and money away from farmers, first of all. Yeah, let's take money away from farmers. Good job, Trump. And then secondly, let's take food away from families and children that need food. Good job, Donald Trump. I mean, that's just a wonderful idea, right? But you can read all about it. You know, they've literally taken the funding away so that they can't buy these necessary items. So around the country, food banks that serve tens of thousands of people will increasingly be able to serve no one because the government, this government, thought it was a really good idea to just take away food. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how we constantly attack those that have the least, those that have so little. That's who we choose to go after. That's why I don't understand anyone saying, I'm a Republican. You're a Republican? You stand behind this? You're for taking the food out of the mouths of children? That's what you're for? Because that's what your party is doing. That's what they're doing. They're literally cutting food assistance. So you support that, right? What kind of animal are you? How vicious can you be? And that's why I say, there's no such thing as a Republican. You're either rich or a racist. That's why I keep saying that. But I don't know if you know this, but are you for taking the food from children? Let me know in the comments what you think. I want to hear what you guys have to think, because I think it's just, what kind of America are we that we can't feed those that need it the most? We can't even do that. I mean, it's bad enough that our health care is a joke and could be made so much better if everyone just had access. But yeah, we can't do that. There's not enough money in that. And we have to make sure health care costs as much money as possible, so people make as much money as possible. Yeah, between trying to see a doctor and trying to have a proper medication, we want to take all of your money. It's not like that any place else in the world, but we want to make it like that in the United States because we want all your money. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't go anywhere. I have a final thought right here on the Drayway. When I do this show, I try really hard to keep it positive. But there are some days that are just, it's things hit that are just not positive things, and it affects me. I mean, it gets into into the soul of who I am, especially when I see people hurt. And that's all I see this administration doing, is hurting people. It's hurting everyone. And I warned everybody of this. If you look back on my show, I told you how dangerous this person is, how bad of a person Donald Trump really is. He's an awful human being. He's a terrible person. Has been his whole life. He has been a conniving, bad person. And every time he goes to court, he loses for a reason, because he's an unlawful character. He does things regardless of what the law is. He doesn't care, And to put a person in power like that is just an awful idea. It's a terrible idea, and I sat on here and I started this show talking about Kamala Harris, the country moving forward. Kamala's going to win. We're going to move this country forward, because if she doesn't win, it's going to be horrible destruction and people will get hurt. Yes, I was wrong about who won the election, but I was right about everything else. And for those supporting Trump, you were wrong about everything else. You were wrong that he would be good for America. You were wrong that he would make America great again. You were wrong. You were a lot wrong than I was. I was just wrong about who was going to win. I was right about everything else, because this man is horrible, and he proves it every single day. And around the world, leaders know just what a joke this horrible man is. That's my rant for the day. Thanks for joining me on the Drayway. Don't forget, there's a new Drayway each and every day. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot. It helps me out in the algorithm. And I appreciate you hanging around. And there will be a new show tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. So until then, have a wonderful day. And hopefully I'm in a better mood tomorrow. We'll see. Have a great day, everybody.